So one of the biggest things that hold back salespeople all over the world, every single industry, including the one that we find ourselves in here in the insurance industry, is that a lot of times we think about sales, leads, and prospects as hot, cold, or warm. So we think about cold prospects, or we think the lead is cold, or we think the opportunity is hot. And while it's maybe kind of helpful when you're having casual conversation with, oh, this is a hot lead or this is a really hot opportunity, it actually fails to capture the real driver behind how to close business, which is getting commitments and following milestones along the sales process to indicate whether or not you're actually making progress with the opportunity. So I'll give you an example here. A lot of times, and maybe you've had this experience before where you've had a quote unquote hot lead or hot opportunity, and you feel like it's really yours and you're about to close this thing out, only to find out at the 11th hour or the last minute that this person is not going to be going ahead with you. They're either going to stay with their existing company or they chose another company over yours. And one of the big problems here is that when we use temperatures to indicate the readiness of a buyer to make a decision, is that it's too wishy-washy. There's no real objective measure of whether or not that person is going to make a commitment to you. Now, you've probably noticed that I've used the word commitment a few times here, and that really is the better way to look at your prospects and the opportunities that you have in your pipeline right now. How committed are they to actually moving to the next step? And another big challenge that I see is that oftentimes when I ask a producer or an account manager, what is your sales process? They actually don't have one. They don't have one. They don't even think about it. They don't even have a vague notion of what are some of the basic steps that need to be followed in order for us to know with a high degree of certainty that, yes, this person is going to buy insurance from me. So what I've got on the screen here is a very, very, very basic, simplified, almost dumbed down version of the buying journey or the sales journey. And this is going to be a little different based on the nuances of maybe the products you sell or the types of clients that you're going after. But it captures everything within 4 very distinct categories. And you can see I have blue and green. Any blue text that we're going to go through in this little model is going to be what the client is experiencing or what the client needs to do. Anything in green is going to be sort of your version of that. So in shifting away from temperature checks of cold, warm, and hot, we want to think about what are the commitments that we have gotten from the client already and what do they still need to commit to in order for us to make progress in our process here. So if we think about the client experience in the lead stage, so a lead means I don't know you, ... yet. So if we think about getting commitments from prospects and clients, what do they need to commit to you in the lead stage in order to make progress to go into the prospect stage? So the one that probably comes to your mind first is get them to know you. Very basic, but again, fundamentals. Fundamentals are key to success in sales. So if they're at the stage where they don't know you or don't know your company or don't know about you, the first commitment that you need to get from them is a commitment to get to know you. So this is where your outreach comes in. This is where your prospecting comes in, where you're contacting people who may or may not know about you and get them to commit to either clicking a link to a website or accepting a phone call with you or setting up that first initial meeting with them to talk about their insurance and really vet out whether this is a good opportunity both for you and for them. So very simple concept here. At the stage of them being a lead, they don't know you, and all the commitment that you're working towards is a commitment to them saying, yes, I'm going to take a chance and get to know you. When we move over into the prospect stage, so this might actually be when you're actually having that first sales appointment with them. You're doing your fact finding, you're understanding their situation a little better. You might even get your hands on the renewal documents at this stage. If we think about the client perspective, what they're experiencing here is very simple. I might know you, but I don't like you yet. Again, ... yet. So one of the key things that you need to do at this stage is to get them to like you. And that comes through building rapport, connecting with them genuinely, right? Getting them to know a little bit about you and how you like to work and how you like to serve your clients. But from a commitment perspective, once you get to the knowing, the rapport, the connection, the next commitment for them to move over into the opportunity stage is to commit to actually getting a quote or a proposal or maybe a broker of record letter signed. So from here, we're going to say the commitment is, for argument's sake, we're just going to say quote. So the commitment from here is for them to say, yes, I'm interested in getting a quote from you. But here is where your sales skills will need to be fine-tuned, because one of the things that you're also trying to do at this stage is to see if you can actually help them. So what you also want to do here is qualify. Qualifying means just making sure that the situation that they're in, the type of buyer that they are, and the things that you can offer, that at a high level, there is some kind of a fit, and you can see that fit. There's a chance that at this stage, you're going to learn that they're getting a rate that's so astronomically low because of whatever reason. Maybe they're not being insured properly where they're currently at, or maybe whoever is looking after the insurance has been able to give them discounts that you can't offer. And I'm all for trying to build up the value case and showing that yes, even though my premium might be higher than what you're paying elsewhere, the value is there for you in the relationship and the partnership. But if we're being totally honest, there are going to be situations where the premium discrepancy is so huge, so astronomical, that it's going to be almost impossible to at least get the buyer or the client to see the value in that additional stuff that you can offer them. So at this stage, what you want to do is, yes, get them to make a commitment to receiving a quote or seeing a proposal from you, but you also want to qualify them. You want to qualify that this opportunity that's hitting your pipeline is worth the time, the energy, and the resources that it's going to take to win. Okay, so shifting from lead to prospect, now we're talking about opportunity. The client experience there, or the buyer experience, is, okay, I might know you, we've had a conversation. Now I like you, we built some rapport, I can see that you're a legitimate partner that I could potentially go with. But from here, they might actually, I don't trust you, ... yet. So at this stage of the conversation, what you're going to be doing with them is really demonstrating that you understand them, you get their frustrations, you see where they're coming from. You have identified a few opportunities already within the conversation of where you could add some more value. Maybe it's identifying some coverages that they currently have that they probably don't need. Or if there are coverages that they do need but don't have on their current policy, maybe you've already taken the time to explain why that's a big gap and why that big gap is a big problem for them. But so those are some of the things that you're going to be doing at this stage, but you also need to get the commitment from this person. And at this stage, the commitment that you're working towards is, go ahead. So you need to get a commitment, verbal, written, whatever kind of commitment from your opportunity at this stage. You want the buyer to say, yes, I'm interested in proceeding with you. And that's what you're working towards. So forget the temperature check, forget I feel really good about this, or this looks like it's going to go my way. What you want to do is get a stated, explicit commitment that, yes, I want to move ahead with you at this time. So all the things that you do at the opportunity stage are going to be working towards that commitment. And if you're not quite at the stage where you can get them to give you a go-ahead, that is an indication that you are still in this prospect stage here. So you have not earned the right to move to the next stage just yet. And the truth is, all of these stages can happen kind of in the blink of an eye, depending on how this lead entered your pipeline in the first place. Maybe it's a referral or an introduction that you got from one of your centers of influence, which means it's going to speed up the process here a little bit. Really, this whole thing could take as long as a few weeks or a month, or it could be as short as 15 to 20 minutes in a conversation that you've had with them. So at this stage of the opportunity, you're working towards getting the go-ahead. Yes, I want to go ahead with you. So some of the things you're going to be doing here is demonstrating value, either through your quote itself and maybe how much savings you can offer them, but also, more importantly, through the value of your partnership. So can you get things done quicker for them than what they're used to? You have access to other expertise or other people in the industry who are going to be a huge value add for your prospect. Or maybe it's just something as simple as you're the more local option. You're the more convenient option. You have more social bonds that tie you folks together. Maybe you're in the same community. Maybe that's a religious affiliation. Maybe that's some kind of charitable affiliation. Whatever ties to the community that you have, try to connect that to the value of partnering with you as their insurance broker or agent. And it's not enough to just say we have to demonstrate value. We also need them to restate that they see the value and they agree with it. So part of what you're trying to do from a process perspective in this commitment phase is to get them to agree, yes, I see the value. Yes, I can see how this will improve my standing. Yes, I can see why this is a better option than what I'm currently with or what I'm already shopping around with. So that's what you're working towards. It's demonstrating value and also getting agreement on that value. And the question is probably on your mind, how do I know if they agree with the value? Well, you ask them. So when you're talking about the value of working with you and what they're going to get from that partnership, you should straight up ask them, do you see the value in this? Can you see how whatever it is you're promising them will be a benefit, will be a positive, an improvement of where they're at already? So you point blank ask them. In one of the video modules that we have below this video, we talk about this tactic of the 1 to 10 pulse check. This is a great time to use your 1 to 10 pulse check. Pulse check. Pretend that says check. And finally, once they agree, they make a commitment, they say, yes, I will sign the application, or yes, I will make my first payment, all these things that need to happen for you to bind coverage, they are now a client. And from here, they know, like, and trust you. And what you want to do is don't drop the ball at this stage. Don't drop the ball. So if they need to sign some paperwork, you get them to sign it. If you owe them something for them to go ahead with you, then you get that done. Just don't drop the ball. All right. So they already agree. They see the value. They've already made the commitment. They want to go ahead. Don't drop the ball from here. Carry this to the finish line. And only once you get to the finish line can you maybe ease off the gas a little bit and enjoy the fact that you just earned a new client. So big takeaway of this video, forget the temperatures. There's no such thing as a cold lead or a warm lead or a hot lead. That will just serve to distract you away from the things that need to happen in order to win the business. And you've probably had the experience yourself where you thought you had a hot lead only to find out towards the end that it wasn't all that hot at all. But if you look at it from this perspective where there are milestones and there are commitments that you're working towards, you're going to know with a high probability of certainty whether or not the buyer in this opportunity is willing to go ahead with you. And if at the last minute they decide that they're not going to go ahead with you, you can go back through this kind of concept, this model, and pinpoint, okay, where did I fail? What did I fail to do in order for them to maybe know me, like me, and trust me? And that's going to serve you very well going forward with future deals or maybe even reviving any past deals that slipped through your fingers.